Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Hey everyone, welcome to Truth, Lies, Shenanigans, a live streaming podcast where your favorite hosts bring some of the most interesting topics of the week to you and to our panel to discuss. And if it's truth, lies, or shenanigans, we'll say so at the end. And of course, we try to have some fun with some shenanigans of our own along the way. My name is Neo Nix. And today's show, it's movie time with Micah on Black Cinema. Micah's going to join our show crew, and we're reviewing No Sudden Move and Space Jam. Also on our topics, Robbie Rock wants to talk about the record manatee deaths in Florida, and Lizzie is talking about another Karen incident, this time in Victoria's Secret.
Change that name, y'all. Change it.
As always, we'll start with a quick fire question. But before we get into the show, I just want to say I missed you guys last week. I'm actually just getting back from a short family vacation from Myrtle Beach, and I'm hoping you guys had a good time last week without me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It was
it was
great.
fun.
I enjoyed listening to it without you.
All right. All right, and then let me introduce you to our lovely host for the day. Our professor, journalist, editor, and sports intern mentor, Lizzie Enders. Lizzie Enders. Is Lizzie frozen?
It appears that way.
All right, well, maybe she'll join us back. All right, so we're going to go to our gamer, tech guru, and bona fide rock star with the rock band Fallen Machine, coming to you from Sudbury, Ontario, in Canada, Mr. Robbie Rock.
What's up, my friends? Happy Sunday Fun Day. Looking forward to some animated discussion about these movies.
I see what you did there.
Animated.
You can count on at least one.
All right, so Lizzie, did you want to say hello to everyone?
I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on over here with this internet, but hello, everyone. Happy Sunday Fun Day. Good to see you again. Hope you guys had a cool week. It's been hot and heavy here in Washington, D.C., high temperatures, crazy shootings down in Nationals Park. So I hope everyone is safe and staying cool for the summer.
Yeah, I heard about those going on while I was down there. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Not even a 10 block walk or 10-minute walk from my house.
Yeah.
So kind of scary.
Okay.
All right, and as I mentioned, joining the crew today, co-host of Nerdopocalypse and Black on Black Cinema podcasts, Mr. Micah Payne.
Howdy, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I get to be on the whole show. I'm excited.
We're excited to have you, buddy. We're excited to have you. All right, so let's get started with our quick fire question. So, guys, Bennifer is a thing again. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are back together, and they're moving quick, with J-Lo and Ben rolling with the kids to find a new house in L.A. What advice do you have for J-Lo on her third time around with Affleck? We'll start with Lizzie Enders.
Ask me if I care.
Do you care?
Hell no.
Robbie Rock.
Best of luck and keep a prenup.
Prenup. Micah.
Third time's the charm, I guess. Just, hide the booze, because Affleck has a bit of a
Oh yeah, he
problem,
does have a
so.
booze problem. I say love is love. I mean, yeah, third time, I think they have a chance. They have a chance. So will they make it? Lizzie, you think they'll make it? I know you don't care, but do you think they'll make it?
Here. We did this in mid-2000s. So
We did.
we move forward, not backward.
It's like rewinding.
Come on.
What do you think, Robbie? You think they'll make it this time?
I think there's something to be said for wisdom and experience and emotional maturity. So they've both
In this
aged a little bit.
In this
Both aged.
3 months ago, she was engaged to A-Rod, and they were doing the same let's have family time with the kids 3 months ago.
But
3 months
see,
ago.
you're educating me because I don't pay attention. Thank
So,
you. So
do you know?
I mean,
Do you know?
if she was doing that 3 months ago, that's ridiculous.
Either one of them, Rob. You can't keep up. Like, he dumped her twice.
He
then
dumped her.
he-
Okay.
He dumped her twice. Then he got with Jennifer Garner. They had 3 children. Then he cheated with the nanny, and then he and the nanny broke up. And then he got with a producer, and they broke up. Then he was dating like several kind of on the periphery Hollywood people, and now we're back to Bennifer. And I'm not even going to get into J-Lo's dibble and dab, if you will. But let's just he was just engaged 3 months ago. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, but A-Rod
Yeah.
cheated on her, so I mean, maybe she feels safe with. Maybe she feels safe with Affleck. What do you think? I mean,
he left her at the altar twice. Like, the second time, the wedding was planned, the invitations have been printed.
well, maybe she's okay with not getting married now. Maybe she's okay with not getting married.
And he's a known gambler and alcoholic. Like, come on.
Maybe he's gonna get better.
I mean, maybe.
What do you think, Micah?
Maybe he's just at the top of the order again. Like, you know, and he's just gonna keep swinging.
I see what you did there.
A-Rod, you caught that? You caught that, A-Rod? Top of the order.
Top of the order. Yeah.
We can't keep going back and forth with these Hollywood scenarios, Paramore scenarios. Like, at least give me something new. Let's not keep going, like rehashing, regurgitating old shit. Let's get something new. Like, I ain't hooking up with nobody from 2005 and then again 2010.
Well, you might find you might believe they're the love of your life.
We broke
I
up
don't know.
for a reason. We broke up for a reason.
Yeah, I don't go back either. I've never wanted to. I don't.
Me with invitations already printed and everything all over People Magazine and Cosmo. We're not doing this again. We're not doing this again.
He's just safe. I think he's just safe. I think that's what it is.
He's a drunk.
I think they're getting old, man. They're getting old, and they want a little bit of security, maybe.
Yeah, was she like 50 now? 51?
Or maybe
she's in her
J-Lo's
50s. He's
the-
almost 50.
Well, she's 50 and she still looks damn good.
Oh no
So
question. She looked great for 50.
J-Lo
Or
could do better
maybe-
than Affleck. She
So
could do
maybe
better.
J-Lo is playing the long game, and she's gonna leave Ben at the altar this time around. Maybe this is the big fuck you turnaround. This might be. Let's let this play out. This might be fun.
Leave Ben this time and don't get with the help. That's what she did the last. She got 2 of her dancers last time. Don't leave the help alone. Know your worth. Know your worth. Know your worth.
All right. That's it for our quick fire. Yeah. I feel you on that. Though. All right. So let's get into movie time with Micah.
I got the popcorn. I got the drink.
We did miss the popcorn. We are supposed to have popcorn.
Well, I'll have to get my wife to get you some because she is a movie popcorn fanatic. No other popcorn other than movie popcorn. That's right. No matter how crusty and disgusting it's just been sitting in that tin, she loves it. So that's up. All right, let's talk. Huh?
Lots of butter on the
Oh,
popcorn?
lots of butter. Yeah, you have to because it's unedible at that point. You have to knock it up. Let's talk a couple of movies starring actors who are good and people who are good at other things besides acting. Um, Space Jam is the new movie from Malcolm D. Lee, director, starring LeBron James, Bugs Bunny, Lola Bunny, and a whole host of other Looney Tunes characters. It's the sequel to the first movie starring Michael Jordan. And the log line is a rogue artificial intelligence kidnaps the son of famed basketball player LeBron James, who then has to work with Bugs Bunny to win a basketball game. No, I am not having a stroke. That is the log line for this movie. And as ridiculous as that sentence is, it's just the movie is more ridiculous. Now look, I'm 40. I'm 41. I just turned 41 earlier this month. This movie, this movie ain't for me, right? It's just not. It's for the young people. My thing is, I think young people deserve better movies. Look, LeBron James, as an actor, he's been in a couple movies before, just kind of playing himself, but they were very bit roles, right? So this is his first like starring vehicle. And I mean, he's better than Michael Jordan was in the first movie.
You
but
think
that's
so?
not really a high bar to. Oh, I know so. Yeah, absolutely. Michael Jordan's a horrendous actor. He's a horrendous actor.
Jordan, let's be fair, was acting with tunes most scenes, and even seasoned actors can find that challenging. Just okay, so you're now talking to a puppet. You're not talking to a prop. Well, okay, let's try this, and delivered like an NBA player might deliver a fine acting performance.
That's a valid point.
You ever hear a sports star doing like some sort of radio commercial and you can just hear them reading?
Yes.
That's what I feel like is going on here. And look, it's incredibly difficult to play yourself, especially when you are saying things that you wouldn't normally say. And LeBron James is playing a version of himself. But he does an admirable job. I will give him that. I don't absolutely hate this movie, but this movie is not for me. And the biggest thing that I cannot stand about this movie is all of the WB branding, all of the IP, all of it.
It was too much.
It was too much.
Yeah, it was. I was watching with my family, and the first thing I said, "This is a LeBron WB commercial." That's what this is.
Yeah, it is incredibly self-indulgent.
It's horrible, horrible.
Rob, what are your thoughts? I know you've been chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I want to hear Robbie's thought. Robbie,
you know me. When it comes to
he was going in.
Like when it comes to movies, I want to be entertained. Like Micah said, this movie is not for me. I'm not the target demographic, and I also agree with him that kids deserve better movies. So one quick question, Micah, did your little guy watch this, or is he too young for it?
We don't. He's 2.5, so we don't have him watching too much television. That's not directly educational.
Yeah, and this absolutely wasn't. This was, like I said, this was
it was an education on LeBron. What are you talking about?
No, man, it was a Warner Brothers intellectual property stroke-off fest. If you're not sure which franchises WB owns, check out this movie. It's a 2-hour.
You know what? No, you're right. You're right, because there was a lot of movies. I was like, oh, WB owns that movie. I was like,
yeah. I mean, even just taglines. They were shoehorning taglines from other movies in. They were shoehorning other characters in. Like, I'm sorry, Pennywise, the fuck-ups from Clockwork Orange do not belong in a children's movie.
Like kids don't know who
making a cameo. I'm sorry, I don't want the target demographic tuning in to Rick and Morty.
What were you saying, Liz?
I said y'all better put some respect on Pennywise's name.
Pennywise.
Oh, I do, but Pennywise isn't for kids. Well, I guess he is for kids, but not. But
he rips their arms off. Like, what kind of movie?
Like, are they trying to convince me that they have enough IP to compete with Disney? Because if anything, that really failed. I wouldn't recommend this 2-hour commercial to anyone. Protect your kids from this garbage. LeBron James is worth $500 million. I had to look up what he was worth. So how much money they have to drive up to his mansion in order to get him to agree to make this scheming turd? Don Cheadle's stock as an actor just tanked in my books. Like, he played his role well, but is this one of those things? Did he actually read the script for himself, or did an agent or manager say, "Dude, you got to do this movie"?
Throughout the movie, I kept saying, "How much did they pay Don Cheadle to?"
I was wondering the same thing. How much they paid him? Yeah.
And really, like Mike had said,
Cheadle, and you're in
like, this is from
nonsense.
right. Like, this is from Malcolm D. Lee, who's directed some funny movies. But I am going.
Are we doing spoilers, by the way, real quick? Are we doing spoilers?
Well, I mean, on this one, there's nothing to spoil. But Malcolm Lee, please stay away from large special effects budgets. That's not your forte. I have no experience with animation, and it clearly showed. And if they would have used some of that special effects animation budget towards hiring voice actors that actually sound like Mel Blanc, that would have been a redeeming quality, because even the animated characters fell flat because they did not sound like the originals. And there are voice actors out there who can deliver it. So overall, it was just a huge flop and disappointment.
Yeah, I agree with you. Bugs didn't sound like Bugs. I agree with you on that.
Marvin the Martian sounded like his half cousin Mort.
Like neither did the pig. Like none of them sounded like the previous selves. But Rob, I'm thinking even before you get to that point, how about we get some showrunners that can actually write a good script? Like this was all.
Oh, it was horrible. The whole premise was horrible.
Horrible idea. So I'm gonna kidnap your kid, and to get him back, you gotta beat me in a basketball video game. Like, what sense does that make?
At least Michael Jordan showed up.
It made absolutely no sense. And again, the entire time I'm watching, I'm like, Don Cheadle, really? Like, are you broke? Rob, what's going on? In this? Why are you in this? Like, we gotta, pick and choose our movie roles. Just like we pick and choose our battles, let's pick and choose our movie roles. I thought LeBron was stiff. Maybe would be better as a voice actor. Maybe.
I was gonna mention that, actually. That was gonna be what I was gonna say.
But as an actual on-screen actor, he was not good at all. The story arc for his character was kind of an asshole to the kid. Like, okay, your kid invented a video game, but all you want him to do is play basketball. Like, in what world? In what world?
It's that's a trope. That's a trope that's used for the main character to have some sort of arc, right? Like that was his arc in the movie, to try and be a better father to his son. The problem
is poorly done.
It's incredibly poorly done, and it's a cliche, right? Like it's not doing anything new.
A horrible cliche. A movie that
especially with LeBron James's real life persona.
We know him. Like, we know him, his family life well enough.
Right. You expect me to believe that all of a sudden, like, he's this hardened, like, ring general to his son? Like, of course he pushes his kids, but like, no, you're showing an aptitude for something other than basketball? No. Get out of my house.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a kid, because it's also way too long to not be
I saw the running time.
What was the running time? It did seem long.
2 hours.
It did feel long.
I only stuck in for 30 minutes because I knew I had to watch it for this show. But I can't imagine a little kid, like, watching this, not necessarily being familiar with the Warner Brother cartoon characters that, like you guys said, didn't sound like the original Warner Brother cartoon characters, and with such a weak storyline. Like, there was nothing engaging for the kid here. So, yeah, but I will say this, you all, it's #1 at the box office this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, so here's my take. Like I said, I was in Myrtle Beach, and we watched it with the family. As soon as it came out, all the kids were like, "We want to watch Space Jam. We want to watch Space Jam." And I'm like, "Why?" But we watched it, and the kids, surprisingly to me, enjoyed it. Because I asked their feedback. As a matter of fact, it was my 17-year-old nephew. He's shout out to Avery. He's
What's up,
he,
Avery?
he was he I asked him what he thought about it. He said it was good. He said he enjoyed it. It was crazy though, but he caught because he loves basketball. He's a big sports fanatic, so he was catching all the references to the basketball and all the dabs to people and stuff like that. And he was catching everything. Like it was impressive. I mean, they put a lot of stuff in there for kids,
Yes.
and the kids enjoyed it. The kids who were watching, I had a niece and nephew who was 7 and 9, and they loved it. They sat there and watched it. So it was definitely for kids. Now I wanted to mention what you said, Lizzie, about the him being a voice actor. I thought it seemed more realistic when he was this character. When he was playing the character, it was like, okay, it made sense. It kind of matched the voice and everything, and the animation was a better actor than LeBron.
Because the animators can make a character emote.
Right.
You can't force an actor
because he did not emote. I mean, it's very robotic, very robotic. I mean, I really hated the movie. I mean, I didn't really like Space Jam, the original Space Jam, when I was younger. So, whatever.
I'm not surprised. My last thought on this is I'm not surprised that this did well. I find it incredibly ironic that the villain in this movie is an evil algorithm, the same type of algorithm that is used to throw in all of these different references to try and appeal to a younger set. So it's a bit of a self-own on WB's part, but they're owning it all the way to the bank. So I can't be too upset because they know what they're doing.
I guess.
Next up,
it's discouraging. But next up, let's go. Next up.
Next up, I swear I gotta find a movie that you're gonna like because I have a feeling you're gonna
like you're right. Actually, it's funny. Like every movie Lizzie has to like.
that's gonna be my goal every month.
Holiday movie. I love the Billie Holiday movie with Andra Day. Loved it.
Okay.
Loved it.
All right. So
out of 7 movies, out of 8 movies, he's got one.
I'm just not remembering one. You guys pick bad movies, but I'm just not remembering all of the other movies that we reviewed. But I like some of them.
Well, next up, the latest from Steven Soderbergh, director of the Oceans movies, of a lot of different films, but he's mainly known for the 3 Oceans movies. No Sudden Move. This premiered on HBO Max not too long ago. The logline: a group of criminals is brought together under mysterious circumstances and have to work together to uncover what's really going on when their simple job goes completely sideways. Now, I enjoyed this movie. I'm a Steven Soderbergh fan. I like most of the movies that I've seen him in, that I've seen of his. You know, we were talking about Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle might be my favorite actor. I think he's generally good to great in everything that he's in. Even if it's something like Space Jam, he's at least kind of into it.
He was the best thing in Space Jam.
You know, he was very sinister, and like he was kind of into it.
He was committed. He was committed to that performance.
Yeah,
Algae Rhythm.
And in this movie, he plays Kurt Goines, which is a weird name. Goines. Thank you. It's been a few weeks since I've seen the movie. Look, this movie stars Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, David Harbour, John Hamm, Brendan Fraser, Kieran Culkin, Julia Fox, Ray Liotta, Bill Duke. This is an all-star cast. And Matt Damon makes an appearance. I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed this movie very much.
In this movie, Matt Damon went uncredited in this movie.
That was intentional.
That's very talented.
Yeah, that's well. It's I think
they wanted it to be a surprise cameo.
Yeah, it's a surprise. Because at the end of that movie, like,
don't forget spoilers, guys. Spoilers.
I mean, you know,
now I'm just letting the audience know spoilers, reminding them.
I think it was
So
intentional. He was committed to this, but it's garbage. But go ahead, Micah. Go ahead.
I think it was, well, one, that Matt Damon wasn't supposed to play that character. He was kind of a last minute replacement. They wanted George Clooney to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, George Clooney was originally, but he had other commitments. He's been in those ocean movies. He's a big fan of.
I thought Matt Damon did well personally. I thought.
I think he did well. I think as well. But he was, working off of his expertise versus the script and the direction that was given to him.
I don't know. It kind of brought it together for me.
Part of why I like this movie is the way it's shot. It's it's a little ballsy in that some aspect changes happen in certain scenes, and there's certain fisheye lenses in certain scenes. I don't know. I kind of like that artsy stuff. But like I said, maybe I'm a little biased. I like Steven Soderbergh. I thought the script was solid. I think it got a little messy towards the end, particularly with Don Cheadle's character trying to figure out what is exactly going on. But I do like the undercover themes of the movie. All these gangsters thinking that they are, the top dog, when in reality, like, all you blue collar people are being run by white collar people. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this movie way more than I thought I did. Now, this isn't one of those movies where I think I'm gonna rewatch it, but I enjoyed it while I was watching it. Now, I want to get to Liz last because I think Liz is the dissenting opinion, and I want her to have the last word. So, Neo, what do you think about No Sudden Move?
I actually like the movie. I will say it definitely got a little convoluted towards the end, and I was having trouble figuring out, what actually happened. I didn't have to rewatch it, but I did have to read a little bit on it to kind of make it make sense to me. And so it did get convoluted at the end, but I thought there were some great performances. I mean, I love Don Cheadle. I'm with you. I mean, ever since Devil in a Blue Dress, I've been a Don Cheadle fan. So, I mean, he crushed that performance. But, well, I don't know that he did War Machine justice, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought the movie was good. I mean, the performances were great. Benicio del Toro was fantastic. I thought I forget the guy's name who plays in Stranger Things. What's his name?
David Harbour.
David Harbour, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I thought I like him as an actor. I mean, he plays so many different roles because I also watched Black Widow, and he was in that, and that was great. But so he was great in it, rather. I like. I mean, it was an all-star cast, and there was just craziness going on. So, if I were, I don't know, are we doing stars? If I were giving it stars, maybe like 3.5. Because it did get really convoluted and hard to follow at the end there. But like I said, once I understood a little more about it, it made a little more sense to me. A little background.
Rob, what say you?
I enjoyed it. I'm with you guys. I enjoyed the aesthetic of it, the 50s, just a gritty Detroit downtown, the cars, the wardrobe. It was really neat. And like you, Micah, at first I found that fisheye lens kind of jarring because I found that it was removing me from the main action on scene. But then post movie, reflecting on it, the entire movie is about misdirection and no honor among thieves. So then it was just kind of like, okay, so visually I didn't really enjoy how my eye was being brought out of the main scene, if you will, because of the fisheye lens. But then it was just kind of like, but it fits the theme of the movie. So in that sense, that's freaking brilliant. That's really well done. But I'm not a fan of that particular style of cinematography, if you will. And I know that on our Twitter feed, when we put this out, Javon Anderson, who plays Lonnie, the bellhop, who Don Cheadle goes to solicit safe haven from him when.
Oh yeah. He was in. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
So he's just an up and comer.
He sold him out though.
Detroit.
Oh no, he didn't sell him out. That's right. No, he didn't sell him out.
So he's done a number of productions, and he's on the way up. And I've just watched snippets, just different interviews. He seems like a young, dynamic guy, and really he held his own when he was in scenes with Don Cheadle. It wasn't just an ancillary actor. It was two guys talking about the story, driving it forward. They were just driving the narrative forward. So props to J. Von Anderson for just an up and comer. It was a good performance. So really, I enjoyed it, and like I said, like No Honor Among Thieves, Follow the Money. It was entertaining.
All right, Liz, tell us why we're wrong.
I like the way you put that.
Their own interpretation and opinion, even though it's wrong because it doesn't align with my own. But first, props and shout out to actor Craig's Mums Grant, who played Jimmy. He was one of the first characters that Don Cheadle's character came into contact with that set him up for this job. He is better known as Poet from Oz. He was also on The Wire. He's been in a lot of things. He passed away in March of this year, so props to him. I wasn't expecting to see him on screen again, so I was very delighted to see his character. But yeah,
I didn't know he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away in March of this year. I think he was only 51. He was in his 50s, so still fairly young. But in terms of this movie, it didn't do it for me. So this is a film noir. So, it's supposed to be about kind of like a heist, crime action, kind of dark cinematography or whatever. I get it. However, I just am sick of this idea of having all-star cast and having that be the flair, the thing that attracts you and makes you think that this movie is great, because it wasn't great to me. I thought the dialogue was lacking. I thought the kids were annoying. Like, don't tell me y'all looked at those kids and were like, okay, these are some good kids. They were annoying as fuck.
I hate kids in movies, so
I
do. I love kids. Hate them in movies.
That son, I'm just like, bruh. In a real world, they would have shot him early on. Like, sit down and be quiet.
But they weren't really trying to kill anybody.
Well, that's unrealistic in itself. But
that wasn't.
It was supposed to be a babysitting job.
That wasn't the job.
The women, but people go beyond the job when they feel threatened, and this kid was not doing what he was told to do. The women were annoying. I was just like, oh my God, stop talking.
Women were funny to me. They had me laughing.
I thought that there were too many characters that were, I thought that there were too many characters, but a lot of characters that were underdeveloped and that were just like coming in.
That I agree with.
And yeah, it didn't do it for me. I don't think it was the worst movie that I've ever seen by far. And I do think that, the stellar actors that were in the movie, they acted very well. I just think that the script was lacking. Because and I knew that Matt Damon was supposed to be in the movie, and I hate when this happens to me, and I think you guys can relate. Someone's supposed to be in the movie, so you're just waiting for them to come up and appear. So we're getting towards the end of the movie. I'm like, what the fuck happened to Matt Damon? And then he shows up, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I peeped his character out as soon as he came on screen. He was calm, cool, collected. So you're like, okay, this is the guy, right? This is the guy. So I thought he did well, for Matt Damon, but it didn't do it for me. I needed a stronger script. I needed less characters confusing things. That's typical Steven Soderbergh. That's typical of him. Yeah. It was kind of a miss for me, but I understood Don Cheadle in this movie more than I did Don Cheadle in Space Jam.
He's not Don Cheadle, it's Algae Rhythm.
But speaking of understanding actors, it was refreshing to actually hear Benicio del Toro's lines. I could actually hear what he was saying. and that was refreshing because he usually plays.
You're
these
right. It's hard to hear.
characters
It's
that
hard to
mumbles
hear. It's true.
everything. But he was very clear and.
I kept having to turn the volume up. I'm like,
I did too. I did have to put on the closed captions.
But he was great. I mean, he was great. He has like a muted machismo, if you will, a very muted machismo that I think works well for him.
Yeah.
And I was kind of sad, at his demise in the movie. It was expected because he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
All focus on the poo nah nay. Wasn't paying attention.
I saw it coming though. That one I saw it coming. I saw it when they were in the car. I was like, "Yep, I know what's about to happen right here."
Right.
But in his flask, though, did you see that? Like his flask initially got him.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's why I don't carry a flask with me.
You should carry a flask with you because it protected him from dying the first time.
But it set him up though. It
did.
Him up. Because he would have been ready if she had drawn on him initially.
That's true.
She caught him off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Micah, if I were to give this a star, I would give it 1.5.
Ooh.
Out of 4 or 5?
I was going out of 5.
Well, that's even more harsh, though.
I was going 3.5 out of 5. But if we're doing 4 stars, I couldn't give it more than a 3.
I'd give it 1.5 out of 4. Space Jam, I would give a big fat 0.
Yeah.
I tend to not like the star rating. I tend to want people to hear what we say and then bottom line it with a recommend or do not recommend. Space Jam,
recommend.
Wholeheartedly do not recommend that movie.
Recommend.
And for
Space Jam, do not recommend. Do not recommend Space Jam.
Right. And for no
unless you're 10.
Yeah, unless you're 10 and have seen every Warner Brothers movie ever. That movie reminded me so much of this book that I can't stand called Ready Player One. And that entire book, that entire book.
I like that movie though.
Just the movie's better than the book. I'll give it that.
I haven't read the book,
but the book is literally this person just kind of narrating, just naming things from his childhood, from the 80s, right? And it gets to a point where he's literally just listing things, and that's what what Space Jam felt like to me. It felt like another Ready Player One. And,
they promoted I don't know if you noticed, they were promoting the hell out of The Matrix.
Oh,
yeah, because the 4th Matrix movie is coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out in December. Yep.
Yeah. So
not watching that either.
What? You're not doing what?
Not. I'm sorry. Not watching that either.
Who is this person? That's like one of the best movies ever in history. The first one. The first one.
We don't need the 4th iteration of it.
2nd and 3rd were left a lot to be desired.
But I think also good advice for people that are our age, because we are well seasoned. We remember the original version of these Warner Brother cartoon characters,
which many of them were racist, by the way.
Many of them.
I was surprised the Foghorn was there.
I was surprised too.
But we didn't know that at the time as little kids. And at least for me, I loved Bugs Bunny. I loved Elmer Fudd. I loved The Martian. I loved all of Donald Duck. I loved all of it. If you were looking,
I wasn't a Warner Brothers fan. I didn't like Looney Tunes, actually.
If you were looking to your Looney Tunes, nostalgia or whatever, do not watch Space Jam. It will disappoint you and it will hurt your feelings. Yeah. It will hurt your feelings.
Do not recommend Space Jam. I recommend No Sudden Move. But just try to pay attention because it does get a little confusing.
That's another thing. Either Micah or one of you guys said you didn't watch it twice. I did have to watch it twice because I'm just like, I feel like I missed something.
Yeah. I think they did one too many twists.
I did watch it twice.
M. Night. What a twist.
Yeah. All
right. Well, look. Next time, that's my goal, man. My goal is to pass the Lizzie Enders test for
good movies. That's a tough test.
I need to come on Black Cinema, Micah. I need to come on Black Cinema.
Yes, we need to talk about that.
Conversation about these movies. And my Lizzie
Yes, we
Ender's
need to
test.
talk about that. There you go.
All right. So great job, Micah. That's it for movie time.
We seriously have to bring popcorn next time.
Oh, real quick, a couple of comments. Are we not going to talk about Don Cheadle's Emmy nomination? Mike Wolf says, and apparently,
yeah, okay.
No, he didn't.
Real quick.
No, because he was surprised that he got nominated. So I mentioned that he was a 2-time Golden Globe winner. So that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, he got an Emmy nomination for his 2 minutes in all of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's what he got it for?
Yeah,
that's what he got it for. Yeah, that's what he got it for. Meanwhile, Carl Lumbly is sitting there acting his ass off in multiple episodes, and they just gave it to Don Cheadle. I think they were thinking of Carl Lumbly but didn't know his name, so they said, "Oh, well, that guy must be Don Cheadle."
Wow, Micah went there. And apparently, Mike Wolf also mentioned that they removed the Pepe Le Pew scene.
Wow.
Yeah, because Pepe Le Pew is a bit of a rapist. So
he's a rapist, racist rapist. I mean, they're all.
They kept Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy, I was surprised at that as well.
Right.
That was surprising to me because I even said, I was like, Speedy Gonzalez, really? Anyway. All right, so let's get into our main topics. If you've never been to TLS before, let me tell you a bit about how this part works. Each week, our hosts bring us topics in the news they want to discuss. That host will tell everybody what's going on, then our lovely panel will chat about it, sharing their unique points of view on the issue until we see our friend Gingy. And once Gingy's up, that's when we know time is up and it's time to hear from you. And we'll take your online comments and questions. And at the very end, we'll check with the panel to see if they think this was truth, lies, or shenanigans. And for our listeners on Apple Podcasts, don't forget you can join in this live conversation every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. And we stream on all major platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Find us at TLSLiveShow or TLSShow.com. All right, let's get to it.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Let's start with Liz E today. There was another Karen video, this time Victoria's Secret. Tell us what happened, Lizzie.
So we had a young lady last week or this past week, Victoria's Secret. She decided that she was going to prop up her white tears and attack a Black woman. And when the Black woman started recording her, she went off and had full tantrum. So a young woman, let me pull up her name. Her name is
Abigail.
No. The actual
the filmer.
Yeah. So her name is Ijeoma Ukenta. So apparently she was in a Victoria's Secret store and they were in line. And this woman, Abigail, what's her last name?
I don't have her last name.
Elphick, Abigail Elphick. So the two of them were in line or walking towards the line. Apparently Abigail bumped into this Black woman. The Black woman told her, you're rude or whatever. That's when the confrontation started. So it is alleged that Abigail went off and she came towards the Black woman, and that part is on camera. Came towards the woman, tried to hit her or swat her phone away. And as the Black woman was recording, and then once she realized the Black young lady was recording, that's when she had her meltdown. And so the Victoria's Secret people, staff, if you will, as we have seen on time and time again, they went to the aid of the white woman.
Did they?
Who was calling, who was calling all.
That's not what I saw.
What are you talking about? They didn't go to the aid of the Black.
Let's go to the video. Let's go to the video. Let's see.
Now look at this.
By the way, this is on TikTok at TLSLiveShow.
Now you oh my God! Oh my God! Do you see this? Oh my God! I mean, she just tried to run and hit me, and now she. Did you see her? Oh my God! Karen had a breakdown. She tried to hit me. Ask your workers. She tried to hit me. Oh my God! I just came to get my free panty. You know how you get the coupon in the mail? Yes, I'm gonna approach her.
No, I had a please.
No, why don't she walk away from me? No, I was here. No. We're not doing this.
Hold on, let me pause it. Say that again.
I said if I said that the staff went to the aid of the black woman, I meant white woman. They did not go to the aid of the black woman. They went to the aid of the white woman in this situation.
I saw the full video. That's not what I saw.
That's not what I saw either.
But now this is just part of. Just want to reiterate. This is just part of the video that we put on TikTok. It's only a minute long, but I just want to reiterate that part. We're good.
So, to prove my claim, the black woman went back into the store, had a conversation with the staff about how she was mistreated, spoke to police officers about how she was mistreated, and so she started a GoFundMe. To
got over 100,000.
Yeah, I think initially it was only supposed to be like
20.
Yeah, and so she's now over $100,000, but it's for her legal counsel because she wants to file charges against Victoria's Secret because they did not come to her aid, and to the police officers because the police officers initially interacted with her and not the white woman that was screaming on the ground, acting a fool. And so later on, the screamer, she acknowledged that, she had a fit because she didn't want to lose her job. Once she saw that she was being filmed, she didn't want to lose her job and she didn't want to be blown up on Twitter. Now, this comes after a series of incidents like this. We saw the one incident in the hotel several months ago where the young woman accused a young black boy of stealing her iPhone. And she came in screaming, hollering, threatening the young boy. She actually physically made contact with him. The management at that particular hotel interacted with the boy and his father before they addressed this young woman. They asked the young boy, "Let me see your phone," which he has no obligation to turn over. Then there was, right after this incident was reported, there was an incident in California in which a young man was falsely accused of stealing a woman's phone, her son's phone, at Walmart. She said that she used her GPS to track her son's phone to him in the parking lot at Walmart. She followed him around, and then it turns out the son walked in shortly thereafter with the phone in his hand. The phone was in his car.
Yeah,
so I want to ask.
Good. I'm gonna show that video. I'm gonna show that video later, but I really want to get into Abigail. Okay, what was your question?
I want to ask you all, particularly before we get to Rob, just particularly Micah and Neo.
Okay.
How does this make you feel when you go out into the public sphere, knowing that somebody can just, make a claim against you?
Oh, well, maybe we do need to show that video.
Simply for being.
Let's show that video because it's going to make the point to your question. So let's show the video.
This lady on the phone, she accused me of stealing her son's phone. And I know I'm black with tattoos, so she automatically assumes I had it. She's a racially profile. I haven't even got to my car yet. So if I stole the phone, it'd be in my pocket, right? She's not smart enough to know that. How you doing, ma'am?
Call the police department.
She accused me of stealing the phone, man. I pull my wallet out. I show her I don't need to steal anything at all. Man, sitting here dealing with this woman's irateness because her son can't be responsible for a phone. That's not my fault. But being racially profiled, that's going to be her.
When we were in the parking lot, it was marking him like right there, but I can't.
Where's that? that now? Still marking me? It should follow us, right? If I have the phone, right, it should follow us in the store.
I am going to.
She accused me, and it's okay because I have everybody's face that's involved.
But I'm not, I just, I went up to him, it was marking like where we were at.
Her son found the phone. Her son found it, though. It was in the car. Her son found it in the car.
Do you have my son's?
So now, ma'am, may I have your name, please? May I have your name, please, ma'am?
No.
No? Okay, that's okay. I'll get your license plate. I seen where your son went to the car. Have your license plate. Thank you.
Yeah. Say it again, Lizzie.
Oh,
Yeah.
She said, "Go fuck yourself." After
That's what she
accusing
said.
him, after telling the staff to go,
Wasting his time. He stayed and waited for her.
So I asked Micah and Neo, like, how do you guys feel walking out in public knowing that, you could be targeted just for being you?
You mind if I start, Micah?
Go ahead.
All right. So, so one video, the video of the guy upset me, no doubt, because there was no question he was racially profiled by the lady. I think the Abigail thing is a whole different scenario, and I want to go into it. If we can handle it separately, I'd like to. But to answer your question, it does bother me because even in the video, he says in the full video, he says, I've been racially profiled for so long, I'm used to it, so I know what this is like, But all he did was walk to his car. The child they didn't even know where the phone was. They just assumed that the phone hadn't even left the car, but the mother's car. But she decided because there was a pin of where the phone was in the parking lot. He was the only black person in the parking lot who looked like he might have stolen something. So she assumed it was him. Now, this is a Walmart parking lot. Walmart parking lots don't typically have one person walk into the car at any given time. So I guarantee you he was not the only one walking to his car, but for some reason she picked him out as the one that her phone was pointing to. And but that's typical. If on my Neo Knicks TikTok page, I have another situation where a guy was in the Walgreens, and he was apparently someone had come in and said that he had stolen something from a nearby store, but he was in the Walgreens, and so they kicked him out of Walgreens because he allegedly stole something from a nearby store.
From that nearby store, yeah, I remember seeing that video.
And he was kicked out of Walgreens. The police came and everything, and then he had to go investigate, who said I stole something, and then came back to the Walgreens, and I never stole it. The police had to tell the manager of the Walgreens. I put it on TikTok and actually got her fired, but I don't want to talk about that. I don't know if that got it, but I know a lot of people actually called the Walgreens because they saw it on TikTok to try to get her fired. But anyway, no, but it's horrible that, it had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that they looked a certain way to some people. So these stereotypes are the things that led her to believe that he stole something from her. And and then she was so adamant. There's a longer video as well where she was just so adamant. You did this, you did it. I'm accusing you. Yeah, I'm accusing. The police will come and all. That type of behavior, and the fact that he was so reasonable about it. He's like, you know what? Okay, you say I stole something. If you want to wait for the police, fine. Find your phone. I'm telling you I didn't do it. He waited. He went back to the Walmart. He could have just left. If he had stolen the phone, he could easily just left. But he waited. He did all that. And then she's at the end of it, after all, she did all that to say, go fuck yourself. That just tells you the type of person you're dealing with. Entitlement, right? So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike. I know I took a lot of time.
So I can't stand it, right? Like I can fend for myself, right? I am a person who is I don't fly off the handle easy, but I got a son now, and that's what I'm afraid of. Because it doesn't take much, right? Like, and I know, like, people like laughing at, like, don't film me and all that, but like, no, that stuff is anger inducing to me. That's Emmett Till all over again. Like people have been doing this. It's the same playbook, and it's the same playbook because it keeps working. And I don't know how you stop it, because you can't shame these people, right? And I you could try to get these people fired, or police aren't going to arrest these people because there's no violent crime here. But like you said, the police will come to they'll come to this, they'll see someone crying, generally a white woman in this case, and immediately assume that she's the victim because she's crying, because she's turning on the waterworks. And it's just it's anger inducing, and I can't stand it. This was the first time I actually saw the video. I heard it, but I can't I have difficulty looking at these things because it makes me bitter, and I don't want to feel that way, and I don't want to pass that to my son. But at the same time, like, you got to look out for people because they don't. I don't know. I don't know. It really is anger inducing, man. I can't stand it. And then, like you said, at the end, when the woman was just like, "My name is go F yourself," like, you can't even bring yourself to apologize. That's it. Just apologize, and it would have been over. But the entitlement, like you said, the entitlement is what really I'm baffled by. I'm baffled.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, well, as far as the second video is concerned, I'm definitely on board with what Neil and Micah are putting down. Like this, at the end of the day, if you're wrong, if you come after someone with false information, when you have information that absolves them of guilt, you should be able to apologize to that individual because you have been badgering and harassing them. You've been an asshole. Well, it's time to eat your crow pie and, try to restore some sense of normalcy to the situation. As far as the Victoria's Secret Karen meltdown is concerned, I'm glad that you shared a little bit, Liz, because that's it. To me, the video starts with a meltdown. What was the starting point? And one of my kicks, I enjoy Karen videos. I enjoy First Amendment auditor videos because these people get owned time and time again. But people need to recognize that recording in a public space that is privately owned is prohibited. I have every right to go out into these publicly accessible spaces without having to worry about privacy issues. Just because an establishment is available to the public doesn't make it a public space, and a lot of people get that confused. So I understand that, through the narrative, the woman is saying that, hey, she took a swing at me and I'm going to keep recording. And at that point, hell yeah, absolutely. But everything leading up to it, not too sure what happened. So, that woman, Abigail, could have been part of a witness relocation program, a victim of domestic abuse, someone who needs to keep a low profile. So I would love the full context of the story, what precipitated it. The freak out, the attack, the prolonged tantrum were absolutely ridiculous. And it was white privilege just out on display. It was just gross to watch. These poor staff members, as a shopper, I would have just picked up and left. Like, you just distanced yourself from crazy. Where was security? This went on and on and on. So what are these tenants paying mall management for? Like, typically security service is part of that deal with your rent. So that was absolutely ridiculous. The poor staff members were placing themselves between the women as much as possible to prevent them from physically engaging, but Abigail kept charging around it. So, I wouldn't expect the Victoria's Secret's employees to try to restrain this individual in any way, shape, or form, but they were trying to create some minor blockade. And Liz, if you're a part-time employee, if you're a high school kid or a college kid, you're not, hey, this is above my pay grade. This is Susan, the manager's issue. Screw this. So then you've got one person trying to deal with one person who's instigating and one person who is off the handle.
So I have a quick question. So what was in the aftermath? what was her response? What was Abigail's response to the reason that?
Before we even get into aftermath, let me address some things that Rob said. One, I think hopefully I'm misunderstanding what you're saying about recording in a private a private versus public space, because to us as consumers, Victoria's Secret is a public space, unless
it's a publicly accessible space. It's private.
Exactly. But that's only if Victoria's Secret says you cannot film video in here. You cannot film other customers in here, which they did not say. And which you will see and you will find in a lot of these instances that none of the shop owners say, because that could still be applied to the guy in Walmart. It would be the same. It would be the same.
And I need to know more about the mall, because that's a mall management issue, and you need to have those.
Well, Walmart employees did tell him to stop recording several times, by the way.
But they have a right to do that. I don't know if they have a right to do that sight unseen. I don't know if they legally have a right to do that. That would be something we would have to look up.
Probably local laws too.
But the Victoria's Secret never told her to stop recording. What happened in the beginning of the recording that we saw, the beginning of the recording that we saw, she physically attacked the woman that was recording.
She lunged at her, absolutely.
Exactly, and she had every right. And so then when the Victoria's Secret people intervened, they went to the recorder. They didn't go to the woman who was the aggressor. They went to the recorder. And that is her issue. And that's why she's saying, I may sue, because they did not come to me. It was the same incident when the young woman came to the black young boy and said, you stole my phone. They went to the father and the son versus the woman who was making all of the ruckus. That is the common practice when this happens. They go to the person of color versus the person who is making the ruckus versus the Karen.
Right. I mean, a good point to that was when the couple at the register were like, "Why don't you just walk away?" You know, and saying it to the lady who was filming. What's her name? Say her name again for me.
IG Mo. But why would she walk away when she's being attacked?
Right. No, that's all I was saying. To your point, they came to the defense of the Abigail versus Ajiuma.
Because if you watch the
I feel
whole
bad
video,
not saying her name right.
She is backing away the entire time.
Oh, no question.
Yeah. And that young woman, Abigail, came at her full throttle twice.
Yep.
And so I have every right to record someone who is coming at me, threatening me and attacking me. So I mean that is not up for debate. Like I and thankfully, because no one would believe us if we didn't have this on camera. No one would believe at all. What was your original question? I'm sorry, Nia. What was your original?
I was asking what was the post? Did they do a post interview? What was the aftermath from Abigail particularly? Like, did she acknowledge that she was having a breakdown of some sort?
She called it a breakdown, and she said that she was concerned that when she saw that she was being recorded, that it would be put on social media and that she would lose her job. And so that's why.
I was torn on this one. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was a little torn on Abigail. That's why I wanted to talk about it separately, because I was torn on Abigail, because I'm not saying that she did not have crocodile tears. I really don't know. I don't know if she was, I'm just saying, but she may have actually been having a breakdown at the time, in my opinion.
That's not my
problem. Let me address that.
I appreciate your measured response.
Good.
I appreciate your measured response, but at the same time, you're having a breakdown. Like I feel for you, but you have no right to take it out on somebody else.
No right. Not saying she has a right. This is what I'm trying to address, though. I'm just trying to address that sometimes we deal with crazy people. People have issues, bad days, problems in their life, or they're just mentally disturbed. And there were times where she was egging her on. There were times where I don't want to say her name again. I'm just going to call her the lady filming.
IG.
Igioma, thank you. I want to say it correctly. Igioma, thank you. So Igioma was, there were times where she was making fun of her, laughing at her, and doing things which could exacerbate someone who is having a mental breakdown or problem. And so all I'm saying is that I'm not saying that because I acknowledge the racial implications. I acknowledge it, having been in haven't been in directly that type of situation, but having been in situations where I've been profiled, I acknowledge the racial problems. But we also have to acknowledge the possibility that she was having a mental break and didn't know how to respond and react appropriately.
How about we acknowledge the possibility that the victim did not know how to respond appropriately?
Sure, fair enough.
She had been attacked.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna disagree with you.
Backing up from her, she's alerting the staff. You see this woman do something.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
I just don't know that it was the intention.
Who are mentally. I get it. However, that when I feel that I am being threatened, that is not my issue.
It's a tough balance between the two issues, though. It's not. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that one is right or more important than the other. I'm saying that that particular situation may have been, and I'm going to say may have been because I really don't know Abigail's intentions, but it may have been an unusual dynamic where we had someone who was really having a breakdown and someone who was scared for her life because she was a black woman.
More unusual than the young man then.
Say it again. I can't equate the two. What I'm saying is I think this is maybe a different situation.
Then why did you specifically pick out this instance?
Because
the young man?
Because I think because I think we're not addressing the fact that she may have been having a mental break, which is a different dynamic.
But she wasn't.
And
in the moment, if I am a victim, if someone's coming at me, it's not up to me to assess that.
I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that there's a possibility that we're just having a different dynamic.
I'm not going to care after the fact. I'm not going to care during.
I know.
Not going to care after.
I know that that's how you as Iju. Gosh, please help me. What's her name again? Igioma. So Igioma, if you were in Igioma's shoes, I get what you're saying. And you should do what Igioma did. What I'm saying is, if we put ourselves in Abigail's shoes,
listen, she's lucky I wasn't in Igioma's shoes. If she had come at me, we would be having a totally different conversation.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, I'm trying to say that this is this could be, and I'm just going to keep saying could be because I don't totally believe that Abigail may not have been just alligator tears, crocodile tears, whatever they call it. But all I'm saying is, I think that if she were having a mental breakdown, we have to consider that there is a different dynamic to that situation than just a Karen being, than like it did with the Walmart Karen, where she was clearly being racially profiling and being rude and pointing out, I just think it may have been a different dynamic.
How was this young lady until she fell on the floor crying? Like she was being rude to the point where she physically attacked someone.
If you're having a mental break, you can't. If she was having a mental break, you can't.
If you're having a mental break, you could be accusatory. You could say,
yes,
my son.
Mm-hmm. Yes, all of those things. Those are all things.
Well, then you can't distinguish between the two, which is what you're doing. And again, as a victim, it's not my responsibility to think about that when I'm being attacked.
I'm not suggesting it should. You keep repeating that, but that's not my suggestion. My suggestion, but I'm not
bringing it up
because I'm saying I believe it could be a possibility that she was not racially profiling. She was not trying to do the Karen thing. I think there's a possibility she was literally having a mental break.
I think I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I think the big
Secret who were telling her to calm down. Why didn't she respond to them?
I'm gonna let Micah go ahead.
I understand what you're saying about the whole mental breakdown. My problem comes from the fact that we seem to always
Lean
give
towards
certain
that.
people the benefit of the doubt
I
when
agree
it
with you.
comes to that.
And nobody
I
wants
didn't
the
I
benefit.
didn't think of a mental breakdown, but and I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm gonna give equal weight to the fact that this woman might be lying,
Which
or
I
putting
believe
on
is,
a show.
and I totally agree with you.
And if I'm being honest, it's not really equal. Like, I think this woman's putting on a show.
Fair enough.
Like, but at the same time, like, I hear what you're saying, but you can't, and it's difficult for me to kind of parse through this, right? Given that I don't have any, I'm neurotypical, right? But
Okay.
at the same time, like, I can't. I'm curious about what the fallout of this is. Also, at this point, I'm just looking for accountability and someone to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even get that.
That's what Jose
And
just
that's
wrote on
what's-
Facebook.
And that is what's getting me, like look, I'm not gonna speak for all black people, but I'm about to speak for all black people. We are forgiving. We're forgiving. We are very forgiving. and yo, just admit that you were in the wrong. I'm not even saying that you profiled me or anything. Just admit that what you were doing was messed up and say, my bad, I'm sorry. Because when you don't, like, that's a type of psychological torture that black people have had to go through, right? Like, you can't, nope, that didn't happen to you. No, it didn't happen to you. Nothing happened to you. That's the same type of stuff where like people assume that black women are able to take a certain amount of pain and punishment because they've had to be strong all their lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that's why black men don't cry or tell their friends that they love them or stuff like that, because you've had to steel yourself up
for generations,
and you can't.
And if you
Right, and that's
what Ichona is saying. She says, "I never thought that this would happen to me."
She did say that.
I never thought that this was happening. She was out shopping, minding her business. And if we're going
trying to get some free panties.
Free panties.
All right, look, we're running out of time, so I'm gonna have to shut it down. Let me get Ginger up in there. I actually forgot to start the timer. I feel bad, but we're running out of time. I want to get to these comments online because there's a few really good ones. So Jose says, "Take it."
Everybody out there, don't be rolling up on Liz E. I'm warning y'all now.
Catching hands.
Jose said, "Take accountability. She looked like she needed a young priest or an old priest. Mental breakdown. Nope. Called out, and she did not like it." Dari Winter said, "Are you kidding?" I guess she's talking to me. You do not know, but with black children, you put them in a position of needing to have strength and mental fortitude. The attacks against African American victims have come from mentally unstable people who deserve what? Sympathy, treatment, a society that privileges pity for them over the humanity of people of darker hue. But I still say we have to give some consideration to people who actually are having a mental break. I'm not sold that she did. I'm
gonna give consideration to victims. How about that?
I agree with that too. I agree. I'm not saying what I'm not. Aren't you the one who said we can multitask? You're the one who says we can multitask, right?
I'm not multitasking when my life is being threatened. I'm gonna be very and whooping your ass.
All right. All right, so Ernest Cooper says, when black people have breakdowns, we get killed. Very true. When Abigail had one, people told the victim to move on. Right, yep. Mm-hmm.
And the police were called in this situation, and they interviewed the
black woman. Yep. Rob, in Canada, it's not illegal to video someone in public as there is no reasonable expectation of privacy. This is from George Fournier. No reasonable expectation of privacy in a public place. Don't know the laws in that particular state. Just saying, LOL. All right. Truth, Lies, or Shenanigans. What are we calling? This is total shenanigans.
Yeah, this is shenanigans. Get out of here.
Total shenanigans.
Record me.
All right, Robbie, we're going to get to yours next.
Truth,
All
lies,
right.
shenanigans.
All right, Robbie. So you want to talk about the manatees? What's going on, buddy?
I do. Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission reported last week that between January 1st and July 2nd of this year, they have recorded 841 manatee deaths. So the last time that there were that many deaths was in 2013, when 830 manatees died, and that was over the entire year. So these are big animals, and when they rescue and rehabilitate them, it's a very lengthy process. We're talking weeks, months, up to a year. So the issue this time around is that they are starving. Their principal food source, seagrass, is being choked out by algae blooms. And algae blooms result as
Yeah,
with
they're a
higher
huge problem in
temperatures,
Florida.
and exactly with nitrate-based fertilizers. So you find them around a lot of chemical runoffs, golf courses, anything that might use a chemical fertilizer. And algae blooms are an issue internationally. So the direct impact this time around is that while the water becomes cloudy, and because of the reduced sunlight, the main food source of these beautiful mammals is being disrupted. Um, it should be noted that boat strikes are also a major cause of manatee deaths. So this year, of the 841, 63 have been as a result of boat strikes, but the rest is due to starvation because of the poor water quality and the lack of food. So manatees were once classified as endangered by the US government, but they were reclassified as threatened in 2017, and environmentalists are now calling for the manatee to be considered endangered once again. So, my friends, again, what say you? This is more wake up calls for the beautiful hairless ape that requires more food and pretty lawns. So, Lizzie, let's start with you, my friend.
I think this is a subject that, one, we need to educate the public of what is a manatee. Guarantee you that the average American doesn't know what a manatee is, where they are, what type of animal it is, where it exists in our wildlife. So I think once we educate people first and foremost, they can start to put a picture to the issue. I think this is something that people in Florida or down in the South, near the coast, they need to start petitioning their congressmen. They need to start petitioning their local politicians about, because this is a man-made issue. This isn't something that's natural. This is a man-made issue, and it can be prevented
Yeah.
if we take the proper precautions. But until we get the word out, until we start to educate people and let them know specifically what's going on with these animals, no one's going to know or no one's going to care. Like I said to you at the beginning of when we were doing our pre-show, I'm like, Rob, where did you find this? Because I in DC, I had not heard of this at all. This isn't something that people are talking about. So we need to get the word out there. We need to educate people, and we need to, call politicians out for what is happening with these animals.
Yo,
Like
you
just because
expect DeSantis to do something?
I said politician, he's not a politician. Just because there
Florida
are no
governor, by the way.
in DC doesn't mean that we can't call on other politicians in those states, because it can't be just Florida. It has to be other states in the Gulf that are being affected by this, right? And so we need to make people aware of what's going on.
Definitely.
We talk a lot about animal rights. We talk a lot about, wildlife and what's happening. This needs to also be put at the forefront so people know what exactly is going on.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm going to read Mike Wolf's comment real quick. Unfortunately, the manatee president is telling everybody that's a hoax, and he's actually doing a great job. No, but I think, just real quick, I think, I remember when the manatees were endangered and they came off the endangered list. And I remember they used to be getting killed by boats and stuff, propellers from boats back in the day. So that's how I remember the manatees. But yeah, it's pretty sad. I mean, I know Florida is really bad for their pollution in their waterways right now. So it's a lot going on down there. Micah?
I agree with Liz. I think whoever the lobbyist is at
Manatee
Big
lobbyist.
Manatee,
Big
at Big
Manatee.
Manatee, they need to get the word out, because
Yeah.
the only thing I know about the manatee is that it's the sea cow. But I don't know if I don't know much about them, and if people don't know about them, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
If you make it a mascot on some sports team or something, then
Or
people
a rap
will.
song. Get a rap song.
Right, right. Little manatee.
Who's
Little
gonna sing about
manatee
the
comes out.
manatees in a rap song?
But you gotta get the word out.
Back that
That's
ass
first
up.
and
We can think
foremost.
about a manatee. We can do back that ass up. About a manatee.
All right, so is this truth, lies, or shenanigans? Truth.
I think it's truth.
Going with
I think
truth.
It's another sad truth, and really,
Sad truth.
Yeah.
we all have personal accountability in it. If we all have choices to make when we purchase products for our homes, for our lives, for our convenience. Is your convenience worth the environmental cost? And if you stop and start thinking about just your average everyday consumption, there's a lot of small changes that you can make that will not hurt your wallet and will make a significant difference in our planet's viability and sustainability. And we are the stewards of this planet, like it or not. We need to take care of these critters. It's on us.
All right, thank you, Robbie.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Alrighty, it is time to get our game show in. In honor of Micah's appearance, we are playing some movie trivia.
If you don't win this game show, you're never having as
Well, it has been.
He won the last time he played with us.
It has been an honor.
You're gonna. He calling himself out already.
Home.
All right, let's get to it. All right, we're just going to do this round robin style. I'm just going to read off the question and the 4 answers, and we'll start with Lizzie. The winner gets the final thought for the show. So, Lizzie, in the Hunger Games, what district were Katniss and Peeta from? Was it District 5, District 9, District 12, or District 15?
Hunger Games, I have no idea. So we are going to just we're going to try District 9.
District 9. That is incorrect. It was District 12. District 12. All right, let's go to the next one.
District 9 is the title of another movie.
Yeah.
That's why I got it from Rob. That's why I got it from
I know.
Rob.
Absolutely. I know how you were misled.
So, Robbie, The Princess Diaries takes place in what fictional country? Is it Caledonia, Genovia, Estrovia, or Maldelvia? Madelvia.
Genovia.
Genovia, let's see. That is correct. Correct, Robbie. Correct. All right. Robbie's in the lead. In Bridesmaid, this is for Micah. You should know this. In Bridesmaids, what city was Lillian's bachelorette party supposed to take place in? Was it New York, Cabo San Lucas, New Orleans, or Las Vegas?
I saw the black version of this called Girls Trip. And it took place in New Orleans. So I'm going to say that because of the racial makeup of these women, I feel like their manifest destiny would take them to Cabo San Lucas.
Let's see, Cabo. That is incorrect. Incorrect. It was Las Vegas. All right, final round. So in Frozen, this is for Lizzie. In Frozen, what event brings Prince Hans to Arendelle? Is it Elsa's coronation, Arendelle's bicentennial, Anna's 18th birthday party, or Elsa's ball for her 20th birthday?
Wait, like what would bring a prince out? Who is Arendelle? I don't know these people. That ain't Elsa, so we're gonna cut out Elsa in both of those.
Okay.
Let's say the bicentennial.
Bicentennial. Let's see. That is incorrect. Incorrect. Elsa's coronation. All right, Robbie. This is probably for the win. All right. And in Avengers Endgame, when Scott, aka Ant-Man, shows up at the Avengers compound, how much time has passed since the snap? Is it 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years?
5 years.
That is correct.
Why can't I
correct. and that means Robbie.
Why you have Michael from Black on Black Cinema and no black
And Robbie, that means you win the game. Good job, Robbie. So Robbie gets our final thought. All right, that was fun. Let's get in some shout outs. All right, Lizzie, shout outs.
Shout out to our girl Gianni Storm, who is under
Gianni.
the weather. That's why she's not with us this afternoon. So Gianni, we are thinking about you, and hopefully you are getting some rest. You're hydrating yourself, and you'll be feeling better soon. Shout out, girl. Shout out.
All right, Robbie Rock.
Shout out to Micah for joining us and bringing one good movie and one not so good movie to us. Special shout out to my cousin Chantal Paquette. Happy birthday, Sean. Love you. Looking forward to seeing you soon. And a shout out to Jose, who was kind of on the sidelines today, depending on what was happening.
She was doing a lot today.
She was ready to rock, and she's been really contributing the last couple of weeks. So
she's been awesome.
Thank you. Very much appreciated.
Yeah, extra shout out to Jose. All right, Micah.
Shout out to my podcast partner, Jay, who we started this whole endeavor with in September of 2011. So it'll be our 10th year coming up.
Wow.
And shout out to my wife for watching our son, who was a bit of a handful.
All right. I'm going to give my shout out to my family. And another shout out to, I had a lot of fun in Myrtle Beach, but my last shout out goes to Biz Marquis, the late, great Biz Marquis, who just passed away. So
You got the vapors.
The vapors. All right, so that is our show for today. I'd like to thank all of you guys for joining us, and I hope that you maybe learned something, gained a new perspective, or even got some things off your chest. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share. Tomorrow, check out YouTube for our clips, TLSShow.com. Our next TLS Live show is on Sunday, July 25th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. And don't forget, this Wednesday, 8 p.m., Gianni Storm, hopefully she's feeling better, and Olivia E. will be going unscripted once again. And our winner for today's final thought is Mr. Robbie Rock.
As the province of Ontario moves into phase 3 of reopening, I have some advice for my fellow Ontarians. Don't fuck this up. Keep distancing. Keep wearing your mask. The variants are on the rise worldwide, and other countries are in lockdown. We're not out of the woods yet, so go out, enjoy what life has to offer, but please do it safely.
All right, great show, guys. Enjoyed it. Thank you, Micah, for joining us. Thank you, Rob, Gianni. Thank you for doing your thing. And Jose and Olivia, thank you for doing your thing. And we will see you next time. All right, peace out.
Shenanigans.